Am I on here?
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the walls. The chair is against the walls. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to an update on our 2A Patch Batch 2019. The show is a little bit later than we thought. I've been chatting a little bit off air, getting everybody coordinated. But this is an update for the campaign to have a bunch of patches made for 12 different Pro 2A projects, platforms, channels, and get them some resources. Additionally, it's an effort for us all to work together and to put a crowdfunding project up that will be on the second largest crowdfunding platform out there forever, and will hopefully inspire others to use these crowdfunding concepts to create projects that are worthy but might not, have the financial support that they need. So this update is part of that look into the creation of this campaign and the collaboration involved in it. We have the invites out to everybody in the campaign, but we did throw the invites out only, half an hour ago or something. So a lot of this is kind of ad hoc. So first I want to thank everyone for your flexibility and being able to adapt to the quickness of this whole campaign and the speed, including the people that are participating, the people following along. I think, to some extent, I like to say that that's part of it, because the antis never wait for us. They throw stuff at us. So part of this is a challenge to work together and throw some financial support at something that wasn't expected and isn't exactly easy. $50 isn't inconsequential for most people. And for us, it's a lot of extra work. So thanks to the people that are involved in the project for putting so much time into it out of nowhere and doing it in such a rush. With all that said, this is Tuesday night. The project ends tomorrow, so we've got a full day or something ahead of us. So we're going to do a bit of strategy tonight and a little bit of Q&A from the people that are joining us live. So I will introduce everybody and then shut up and start distributing the links and stuff out there. But we've got people from the Patch Batch joining us tonight. We have Artisan Tony from 2A Fund. Thanks for joining us from Chattanooga.
Glad to be here.
We got Clover Tack joining us from Texas, from Clover Tack. Thanks for joining.
Hey, thanks, Chief.
You bet. Ghost Tactical jumping in from Arkansas. Thanks for joining.
Hey, thanks for having me, and thanks for all that you're doing, man.
You bet. We got Yuda, the Pew Pew Jew, jumping in from Dallas. A lot of Texans in here. Thanks for joining.
Yep, my pleasure.
And then Tony Simon from 2A for Everyone up in New Jersey. Thanks for jumping in.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
I guess I default represent the Every Second Matters, but that's a campaign that was started by Artisan Tony, myself, Yankee, Never Enough Ammo, a bunch of other people that are on the project. Sean actually was probably around at the beginning, and that was an effort to kind of keep something going, an awareness campaign, in order to keep people motivated after some of the apathy we started to notice at the end of 2013. So Every Second Matters isn't really owned by anybody. It's just an awareness campaign that keeps going, which is sort of the theme of all of this stuff. So like I said, I will shut up, let everybody start a talk, introduce yourselves, do whatever we're going to do, collaborate, and I'm going to throw some links out to the show, to the actual campaign. I forgot to do that.
Can I just mention something really quick?
No, you can't.
I was waiting for permission, but I just, before I fall asleep at my desk, because I'm an old man, I wanted to remind people that we do have, 2 days left, right? And part of what we're trying to do at 2afund.com is inspire people to keep this thing going. So we're actually going to draw 2 names, 2 contributors from the list, and refund their contributions. So anybody who hasn't contributed yet, go, check it out. And if you can, contribute for the extended goals, the tiers, whatever we're calling them, GWebs. And so I didn't, we hadn't had many views on our video for that. I just wanted to get that word out just right quick to maybe inspire anybody else that you could actually maybe get your patches for free if you're lucky. And I think Ghost and Clover are doing something similar, right?
Yeah, we both put a video out today. We recorded it, and Clover kind of talked about the particulars, but we've got an opportunity for a couple lucky participants to win some free patches. We've got a Meal Team 6 set of patches, which are hilarious and awesome in themselves. For anyone who's already contributed, you're in the drawing for that. And then also for some people that can't, afford it or whatever, we will be giving we've had a contributor donate his set. So we'll have that to give away, and you just got to go to Instagram and follow that and all that. All the videos will tell you what to do, but I think Clover can probably talk a little bit more in depth about exactly what it is.
Guess he don't want
I guess he doesn't want to,
to.
Well, if you take the mute off, it helps. But yeah, I don't remember. Dang it, I don't remember now. I got to go look at my thing. Who donated that? David M. was the one that donated that set. So thanks to David out there for that. But yeah, we've got a set of the patch batch. And so what we're going to do is there is a post on Instagram. It's on Ghost Instagram, and he can put a link out there if he's able to. I put a link out earlier to mine as well. Mine's at Clover Tack, so it's easy. Run over there, and all you have to do is basically repost that picture. Try to put the description and all in there, when you repost it if you can, because that helps make people aware of what the rules are and what all's going on and that sort of thing. But yeah, you'll repost that. Use the hashtag 2APatchBatch2019 and tag 2 friends. And when you do that, whether you're already in on the patch batch, or maybe you couldn't afford to get in on the patch batch, or whatever, maybe you've got 10 sets out of the patch batch, you're just greedy and want an 11th. Well, that's cool too. Go over there and share one of those Instagram posts, and you will basically have a shot at getting another free set. And then the way the Meal Team 6 will work is that everybody who has got in on the patch batch deal so far, and then everybody that gets into the patch batch deal before it ends, of course, tomorrow night, will have entries as well to win that set of Meal Team 6 patches from We Like Shooting. So big thank you to We Like Shooting for donating that to the cause. And then now we got Artisan Tony's thing on top of it. So there's lots of opportunity to get free stuff and extra stuff, and this is cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, Tony, for that. That's awesome, man.
Oh, sure. I was going to ask, are you saying Mule Team or Meal Team?
MEAL. Meal.
Okay.
Meal, like the patches are like Ronald McDonald's and Jack in the Box, and they're kind of tactical, funny food patches. There they are.
Wasn't there a YouTube channel, Mule Team? That's the reason I was asking.
No, it's not Epic Meal Time. That was different. So this is We Like Shooting. The podcast has been going on for a while. They were on gun channels for a long time. They got a set of 6 patches where, like, what is this? The Burger King guy and all these different things, but then and their tactical versions. So these things run for $17 a set. The full set is $120. So thanks to We Like Shooting for jumping in and donating a set. It's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So basically, that's for the people that are involved. Are going to have a chance, just randomly, I guess. Or how'd you guys say you're going to pick it?
Yeah, it'll be that. The Meal Team 6 will be random. You'll have 1 entry for all of those that did the first level, the random patch. You'll get 2 entries if you did 1 set. You'll get 3 entries if you did the double set. So that's how that'll work.
Oh, okay, cool. I like that. So then that way the people that threw a couple more bucks at it get a little more on.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right.
As
Well,
far
so,
as the free patch batch set goes, that's everybody is equal in that one. That's an equal playing field. So
what else can we do? We were chatting about it off air. So, what else do we got? I mean, I think that if we were talking a bit about a press release, and that's something that we're thinking of this as a project that we're creating, so that we can duplicate it and we can do it over and over and bring more people into the mix and get resources for more 2A projects and get people, you know, into a different type of online participation rather than just entertainment. Noting back to a previous chat. You know, so if we're going to create a process, I think part of it would be setting out a press release at the beginning, probably, right? And then there's got to be some sort of strategy, like it takes publication a certain amount of time to set up and publish, right? So you don't want to give them a press release with enough time to go to print or whatever the version of it is on the internet.
Well, maybe do a press release once the project is finished. Do a press release of what we accomplished to get
that's a good idea.
To pique people's interest, and then from there, you know, have them say, hey, if you're interested in our next one that will be done in, let's just say 2 months from now, please shoot us an email at whatever.com. That way, instead of you searching for people, you can have people coming to you, making your job a little easier.
Oh, that's a very cool idea. Yeah.
Do we need patchbatch.com as a URL? You already have that, G-Webs?
Shit.
The man of many URLs.
I figured he's already got to a patchbatch.com somewhere.
Somebody's going to GoDaddy right now.
Yeah.
I think he is right now.
No, somebody already owns it with 5,600 positive feedbacks on eBay. So if anything, we're not using patchbatch. It's gearwebsites.com. Gearwebsites.com. It's happening at gearwebsites.com.
Subliminal messaging is a very powerful tool.
Oh, no. It's important that we're not, the patch batch is not the branding. The branding is the 2A, and the patch is it's a batch of patches. It's a descriptor. We're not trying to suggest that we're patch batch, because that is a company that sells patches, and it looks like a bunch of like rip-off non-copyrighted stuff. So yeah, we're definitely not going to do patchbatch.com.
But for posterity, is there what is sort of the home base for the Patch Batch project?
I don't know. Honestly, Tony, you're in the same boat as me, and I know where you're going, but here's where I'm stopping from my typical, let's throw another URL at it, right? Talking to the wrong guy for that. But how many times have we built something up? I like Every Second Matters the way that it's existed because it isn't a thing. It helps other things, right? The Patch Batch, I like the concept, but I don't know if it needs to exist. I think that it can be the campaign, and honestly, if there's somebody that can do this better, I'm sure there's going to be people that want to exploit it. Like, oh, I can make whatever, some kind of clothing or whatever, and I can, do it and bring people on. Honestly, I don't really care. Like, then do it better and, promote the Second Amendment. Unless you guys want to, I'm not going to crap on it, but I'm not looking for more hats, and I'm not looking to solve the Second Amendment issues with this patch batch. I really just wanted to facilitate. I've been stifled in a couple of other ways to get people to work together. It's just a catalyst to get people to work together. I'm content if we make it a system and then execute it a few times to get some resources. But I don't know if it needs to be a standalone thing. I don't know. That's just my initial. But am I wrong? Do you guys want it to be a standalone thing?
I don't know if it needs to be a standalone thing, because I agree with what you're doing. I think it has actually happened. The experiment has worked, because there are people on this chat that we might not have, we knew of each other, but we didn't know each other until a couple months ago or whatever. And the fact that we're all on the same chat and we're discussing things and coming from it from different perspectives and different audiences. And that's the greatest thing, is sharing audiences. I think it's a success already. So I don't know if it needs its own standalones. I think it's going to feed itself, honestly.
And what if we just think of it like a game, and it's a thing that we come up with, but if somebody wants to play it a different way or master it, then, it's not like a doorway that we have to own or.
Well, I think also, I'm sorry, I don't want to just jump in, but I mean, what I like also is you've already been contacted by other people on loving the idea so much they want to know how to get on the next batch, and that's a cool thing. It means it's spreading and people think it's a good idea. So I think that's a really good thing as well.
Plus, I think in the time it took us to get it, up and running, I mean, I've been blasted it on my podcast, and for some reason, in the last week, I did 5 other podcasts besides my own as a guest. So I mentioned it on all of those, and it takes a while for the podcast to be edited and put out. So it's that roll up we need, that build up too. So you can get a running start going into it. I think we did great. I think we did well, and then Yankee and Never Enough Ammo got behind it and blew it up. But everyone was putting in work. I was sharing everything from Clover and Ghost. And anytime Tony put something up, I think I shared everybody's. You know what I mean?
I don't know if you guys see this. When I think of what you just said there, I think of like an old army tent. Think of an old MASH tent. So everybody, the concept of the project is the canvas part, right? All the poles around the outside are you guys, and the stakes holding it all together, holding it up. There's everybody funding it, right? And all the awareness. When Matt and Yankee come along, it brings up those center mass and it gives it some shape. But it's neat. So it worked out pretty well. That I think what you're saying there, because I guess I'm using that analogy, but on the internet, that's what happens. When you guys set up all those reciprocal links, and we're using Indiegogo, a second largest hosting platform, to tie it all together. When an Indiegogo campaign is linked to a dead website, that's one thing. When it's linked to Joe Rogan, that's another thing. So that's a spectrum, right? We've connected it to all of y'all's websites, which are somewhere in that spectrum, right? And then when Yankee and Matt come along with their momentum, boom, they put up these center poles, and that brings it into shape. But it also pulls with these reciprocal links, or whatever you want to call the tubes underneath the internet that hold it all together. All y'all's work and everybody's. I mean, if you go over and look at the campaign and you hover over the stupid little Facebook Who Hates Your Guns icon, 147 shares over there. All of that stuff is, when Matt and Yankee put their weight into it, their anchors, they're like our anchors, that put all of those stakes out there, and that gives it something. That gives it structure on the internet. I mean, I'm trying to use some weird analogies here, but when I see the internet and how it works, that's bringing all your projects up. I mean, that's some neat effort that we put in here. Bloomberg can't pay for that. He can't do that with his stupid anti-gun projects. He can't pay for that.
Here's another analogy. I look at Yankee and Matt as maybe the guys who have the big net that can toss out a big net in a fabric or a network, or maybe we were the bait to bring those people in, and they snagged them.
Well, I think it's also the experiment in itself.
Eat by the audience.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm still caught in the net, But no, I think the experiment, which is interesting, and it's kind of ironic that the actual experiment itself of trying to get people to collaborate and share audiences actually is what helped fund this, because everyone's sharing everybody else's posts, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or whatever. All of us sharing each other's stuff actually helped fund a project that's trying to get more people to collaborate. So the collaboration helped fund a project to collaborate, which is kind of interesting.
It can never end.
That's like screen sharing on that Google Hangout. It's like the never-ending window,
Exactly. So Clover, Justin, somebody went. So Gunlove and Stanley was saying, do this once or twice a year. Clover say maybe do it quarterly. What do you guys? Well, we're putting the cart before the horse. Why don't we talk about that stuff maybe Friday, when I can actually look at some numbers and we can make sure that we're not.
Yeah, and that's what I told him, is that I threw out there that maybe quarterly, but what you got to realize, and outside looking in, and that's one of the reasons we do these. So I mean, we can't address it, that there's a lot of logistics and calculations and other things going on with this behind the scenes, and all.
It's going to be difficult for me to not do many before gun rights policy.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's several events throughout the year that if you want to base them around events, you know.
We could do one before Kevin's event for just the people going to Kevin's event.
That's true.
But successful, I mean, there's several things that we need to be successful on, right? I guess is what I'm saying. So
yeah, you're right. We should. Let's talk about what we can do today and tomorrow to make this successful to one of the largest funded things. We were looking at it on somebody's chat the other night, I think on Pancake's chat on Sunday. We were looking at some of the successful projects out there. And I think the largest or the second, one of the largest or maybe the largest on Indiegogo was a card game like similar to that word thing. What's it called? Like something about destiny or something? Or no, Cards Against Humanity. Something like that, like some sort of a card game you'd play like as adults, after dinner or something. But that was like the largest funding. So you never know what's going to be the largest. It's not always a piece of electric doodad or whatever. So it's potential that we could do something that, stands out as like a giant project. I mean, we still have the potential.
Yeah. Now, I think with Tony's generosity there, that's an opportunity for me to get some more promotion out tomorrow. So, because just saying, hey, here's the 2A patch batch over and over and over and over again. That's a much different approach than, oh, here's a new update. Here's something new with the patch batch. So, that's gonna give us the opportunity to maybe get another little boost, and I'll do that. So you hate to come out of the gate and empty a magazine, so to speak, right out of the gate. So my plan is to maybe start pushing Tony's stuff tomorrow.
Well, and I appreciate that too, because I have to realize that I have a limited reach, and I appreciate. I have more means than I do reach, and that's sad for me.
Well,
so
to an extent, we all have limited reach. That's why we're here.
That's exactly why we're here, is to share our reach with other people that could benefit. Yeah.
That's the way I see it. Working out for me. Words getting out. My subscriber base went up. The number of patrons actually went up because people heard about what we're doing, and I think it's really great. And now we're going to go into NRA. I'm going to have some patches to give away to people. I can plan a little bit. We have I'm on a Firearms Radio network, so we have a meetup for that, and I can end up giving stuff away to listeners there. That know about the show that I'm on, and I can talk about the other stuff that we've done.
I think it kind of be cool also is if we get in there in the mornings for those that are going to be at the NRA that weekend, for all of us that are going to be there, maybe we get there at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning in the media room, and someone go live and we do, here's everyone that was involved in patch batch that is here at NRA, and that'd be kind of a cool thing. And doing some Instagram pics while we're there of handing them out to people and all of that. That's just more promoting for the patch batch for the next set of people that are getting involved.
Exactly. And you can never have too many pictures from something like NRA.
Exactly.
Really. Vendors go to and hand stuff out. I mean, you can tell your audience whatever, meet me at the High Point booth.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying is you can cross collaborate with companies saying, hey, if you want one of the Ghost Tactical patch batches, meet me at wherever, booth 1132 or whatever it is. And that's getting you and that company. That'd be kind of cool,
So you guys are talking, like Clover's saying, we're talking future instead of today. So it's kind of late notice, but what about the idea of doing videos, or at least putting it into the system for next time, as one of the projects everyone does is a video or some sort of a blog post or whatever they do about what you might do with your patches, and get some interaction with your audience and see what they'd like. And I was telling Night Strike, he's got a massive funding project there. These things are inexpensive to him because they're free, but he doesn't have to value them at free. He certainly shouldn't value his efforts and his time as free. Right. If he were to sell his patches for $50, he'd bring in $5,000 for GunTube. And it's not we're not creating commodity here. Anybody can go take some plastic and write GunTube on it, right? We're selling what is it? The crowdfunding is the concept of venture capital, or it's venture funding content. So with a project like Night Strikes or any of your projects, really, if you were to consider the Patch Batches tokens for a contribution, something that is a thank you for an actual contribution for the project, and value them at $50, that could bring in substantial funding for a project.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
So maybe
I
doing a
haven't.
video on that kind of stuff would get people, again, like Clover saying, it's not just a, hey, here's a link, here's a link, here's a link, but it's like, hey, let's think about what we're going to do now. This is what do we got to play with here? And then they see that video and maybe it gets more people juiced up. I think the last day is the real potential, right? You get people that were hesitant and I'm not sure if this is going to fund, and now they know it's going to happen. I mean, potentially just, again, I'm just shooting in the breeze here, but the idea if everyone was going to consider their patches to be worth $50 a piece, as a funding thing, then there's a kind of an incentive to get them for $4 if you're just being frugal.
Yeah.
Yes. So I was going to make a video tomorrow just reminding people of our little drawing we were going to do at the end. That's why I was asking you if there was a way to export the people who had contributed. So I'm going to do a video for that. But if I can help anybody else do anything, I'd be glad to.
Well, I like the idea maybe of doing mine, and I may do that when I talk about Tony's thing. I may try to do a video of or maybe just lace in pictures if nothing else, of like the patch panels on my cabinet doors, and maybe talk about how, hey, this is what you can do if you've got cabinets in your man cave or whatever, blah blah blah, and hey, it'd be a good place to display your patch, and then go into that. So I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think any and every idea can be worked on. I kept delaying doing a actual video, but I've done a bunch of podcasts. I've done links on both NRA ILA's app. I've done it on LinkedIn. I've just reached at every social media, and I shared it with multiple pages, including a morale patch page. I have no idea how many people there jumped on it because that seems to be their thing, and hopefully a lot of them participated. You know what I mean?
Even as like a speculation, there's so many people involved, and the price point is so low compared to like a collectible patch can easily be $50 or more, a single patch. You would think for speculation, some people might be involved in a project like this that are into patches or the potential of patch collecting.
That's what I thought. The funny part is I'm not into it. So I got there and discovered they have their own language.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I have no idea what you're saying. I don't know the words coming out of your mouth. So I just
posted
the idea? And ran.
Probably late again because it takes time for people to react, even if you ask a favor. But what about the idea of doing a deliberate, pull in some favors? Call to let people in the whoever it might be, even gun shops and stuff, right? We haven't even talked about real life stuff. What if we were to do something? I think it's probably too late this time, but for future ones where we actually print something and maybe get gun shops involved. What we did a gun shop patch. But anyway, you're getting something out in paper at a competition or something, at a range.
Yeah, we were actually talking about doing some flyers and stuff for our schedule this year and putting the dates on it and things like that. So that could be an addition because we're going to
put
go
that on
around
your
the
website and you say, please print and put wherever it's appropriate, right? Put it, where it's respectful and appropriate and get the word out. And imagine how different it would be if a project like this had pieces of paper. If we encourage people to put pieces of paper out there, do some kind of Instagram campaign for, take a picture of each flyer you post or something.
I don't know. It's just ideas can come fast and furious. You just have to activate them. I know I'll be filming one tomorrow morning, but I get up at 4 o'clock to do this. So I'll be doing one of those and try to make it 60 seconds or less and post it on Instagram.
there anything about any point in contacting manufacturers?
At this point,
I don't know. Just throwing stuff out there.
actually, I mean, to get them to share it, that would make sense at least because they have their own audience on social media too. Like, can you imagine if somebody like Brown Owls got a hold to it and shared it?
I mean, I know we can try to get manufacturers, but I know Ghost. I know we talked about this when I was on your show. Let's be honest, the manufacturers don't care about the Second Amendment like we do. You know what I'm saying? They're not pushing Second Amendment, smaller Second Amendment advocacy podcast author. They're not going to do it. As much as I would love to see them do it, but that's a whole nother question.
That's true. It would be a bit of it would be like an outreach program. It would be like an attempt. It wouldn't be a sure thing or anything. And
Yeah, if you went about it looking at it that way, then absolutely it's worth it. But if you're expecting something, then maybe not. But yeah, an outreach, yeah, great.
But it would probably have to be like a bunch of humorous ones, like a bunch of just entertainment type of morale patches, and not, you know, logos of people that are communities or, you know, projects and stuff. They wouldn't understand all that like you just, yeah.
The gun control is not kosher one.
Yeah. That if it was like 12 of those.
Hey,
so let's talk about your patch. Did you got the picture of it someplace?
I mean, yeah, I have. I mean, I have the Adobe Illustrator file already done because it's on one of my shirts. So,
Plus, I mean, we can go on your website and look at it.
Yeah. Is there a way to share an image to the group here?
Yeah, I'm screen sharing your site right now.
Yeah, it's right there. Second one on the, yeah.
Okay, right on. Yeah, a good round one.
I like it. That's awesome. I love it.
That's pretty cool.
But I mean, you can go through my site. I mean, I have over 60 shirts, and they're all. What my site is very different than, let's say, Grunt Style or Ranger Up. They do a lot of patriotic stuff. My site is legit. The entire site is pro-gun, pro-Second Amendment shirts, and a lot of them are really, really humorous. Exactly like the gun control is not kosher coming from a pig. So, you know, feel free if you think you want to use one, just let me know. I'm more than happy to give you any kind of art files that I have because I have them all.
Oh, now we got dead air. We're supposed to be collaborating. Collaborate more.
I wish we had. Now, would there have been a way, and this is kind of a hindsight thing, maybe not, would there have been a way to, like, instead of me getting 100 patches, me giving 50 of my patches away to another person who would have gotten their patch done instead of mine, like a gun manufacturer or somebody like that, and in return, those people promote it?
So that's interesting. So if it at the last minute, I'd say no, because everybody who went in on it would have thought you're getting one, and then you slip it out at the last minute. So no. But the idea of having, I don't know. That's
like if I had gone to Keystone Sporting Arms and said, "Hey, if you'll help me promote this, you'll get 50 patches out of the deal."
Oh wait, I thought you meant have a Keystone patch in as your patch. Then you're saying still do some for 2A fund or something that's yours, just
right.
To have them participate. Or something.
Yeah, instead of me getting 100 or whatever, I would get 50 and they would get 50.
I don't care what you do with your 50, with your 100. So I don't think it cares there. It wouldn't affect.
Well, I guess my question was related to: does it matter how many are printed of each kind, as far as the pricing? I guess it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, because if you're trying to say like you'd rather have 50 and give 150 to Clover instead of each of you getting 100, then that would screw it up because his would be cheaper and yours would be more. And I don't know if that is like a seesaw, if it just balances out. I doubt it, right? But I don't know. That's where it's tough enough trying to figure out how many shippings there are um, when they're all the same minimum order.
Yeah.
But we can, I don't know. Like I say, this was a concept. I started with NRA show as a point in time and getting people to work together. And then I figured patches are a good catalyst. We've talked about it before. They fit in an envelope. They don't expire. They are outreach. They are marketing, and they're just practical. People use them. Military, scouts, shooters. It's a thing that is part of. We have Velcro on everything. It's not a burden. Very much like a pin or something, but I find the pins get smashed in the mail more often, and stickers. They're just a little bit less. They're just a little bit less. They're just thinner, and people don't feel like they're getting as much of a thing, right? Not necessarily as much reach as with a patch, because you can wear a patch around. Sticker you can put on stuff for sure. But anyway, I just went with patches, but I don't think we're limited. Somebody had mentioned, who mentioned it? Cameron said, what about doing a knife next time? And that might be a way to, I was just thinking of manufacturers because of their money, right? And they got money and they got resources, they got Rolodexes. As much as we say they don't care about two-way stuff, that's when we're talking huge manufacturers. But if we're talking medium and local and real people, then that's a whole different subject, right? But if we had maybe a product, coins, we've done coins before. That's, again, not unheard of, especially if they've got solid copper or something, so if they've got some actual value. What do you guys think? Alternate catalyst.
I'm kind of digging it. The logistics would have to be worked out, but let's say that we find a knife company that's a U.S. made knife company that does like promotional product, little pocket knives, nothing like anything big, but little, or even maybe a little Swiss Army knife type thing that can do logos on there. And instead of doing a patch, you find the next batch they would put, you get 25 pocket knives or something, but would have your logo on there. But that would be kind of cool. I mean, there's always, I guess it's limitless of what you can think of.
Do you guys know Cutlery Lover?
Yeah.
I know that he wouldn't drive down from Pennsylvania to meet us in D.C. in 2012. But yeah.
He had Bastion.
Nice.
What's the name of that company? Bastion. He worked with them and had a cutlery liver knife made. It sold out in like a week or something. He sold.
Well, maybe like a tier. We are talking about a campaign, so you could have a tier where here's the patches, but then if you wanted to throw more money, then you get a knife. I don't know. And then we make a run of 50 so that the people each get one, and there's 40 or whatever the number would be, so that everybody in the project gets one. Everybody else gets one. You number them. It'd be neat.
Yeah.
Be cooler if it was a gun.
Yeah.
Do that yet. Wait until we have a pro gun funding platform. So I'm going to throw this out there because I like to say it. We did it intentionally on Indiegogo. Could have done this other ways. Could have just done it through, send us a mail or a money order. We could have done it through PayPal directly. We could have done it in a million different ways. But putting it on a large funding platform with a two-way message, like I was saying, the reciprocal links aspect of it is valuable, but the social aspect of it, where someone searches on there, maybe they're a gun person and they're searching on there for guns, and they find us. Great, they know they were there. Maybe they're not anti-gun, and they search for any of the keywords that are on that page, and it shows up. And they are. What's the word? They see a pro-gun thing that isn't anything that they've ever seen before, and they're going to have links to, if they do just explore it at all, to all different kinds of content creators that they haven't experienced before, or that aren't the norm for their whatever they've been told gun owners are. So I think there's some validity to putting it over there. But what do you guys think? Are we ever going to see a pro-gun project facility? What do we call it? A crowdfunding platform?
Gun streamers got contributed, so that's the first steps.
It is, and
it's baby steps, but it's a step in the right direction, I would say.
Are you saying as a platform, G-Limbs?
I like to see a platform because
Yeah.
there's been a couple of attempts. We did a Every Second Matters on one. There's another guy who did one for some gun and then some gun accessories. And since you can't do those on the other platforms, he created a platform. So it was sort of, I want to do this campaign, and since the platforms won't let me, I'll build a platform. So he's, efforting at being successful with that. But, there's enough ingenuity and there's enough potential with, people that have mills and printers and computers and presses and all the different means of production in their garages these days. I mean, I can't tell you how many people I know that are running massive successful businesses literally out of their garages. With that kind of potential, I don't know, is it the kind of thing, it's the same thing as YouTube and GunStreamer or YouTube and GunTube? By putting it on a gun specific platform, are we excluding ourselves from the big mix? I brag about how we're doing it on Indiegogo intentionally so that we put a pro-gun thing that's in their face. Would we be excluding ourselves if we had it on a pro-gun platform? Or would we be giving ourselves so much more potential that the industry would evolve? And maybe we'd see pro 2A stuff actually get a voice and not just have to push it.
In some ways, I think you have to ride the wave. Indiegogo and those platforms are kind of the thing, kind of like YouTube is the thing.
Come and go.
Yeah, come and go. You almost have to ride that wave, I think a little bit. Look at Jordan Peterson and his attempt to create a platform. It hasn't actually come to fruition, I guess. So it seems to be something that's very difficult. So using something that's popular is not a bad thing, like Indiegogo, like you've done. I think it's probably proper. I don't know if you guys know Jordan Peterson. I've
only heard a couple of things on YouTube from him.
He was trying to create. He got kicked off of not Indiegogo, Patreon, I think. And he was trying to create his own platform for free thinking people, and it just hasn't come to fruition. I don't think. It's more difficult than it obviously seems, I think.
It's difficult, and like GunStreamer's kind of found it needs funding, and to do it right, it's going to need funding and backing and all of that. So either you're going to be, obviously if you've got the money yourself, or your company has enough money to withstand the first 6 months to a year until it's established itself, that's great. But that's probably why a lot of people don't do it, is it's just costs so much money and time.
I'm going to interrupt you because you made a point there that made me think, since GunStreamer ain't here, we're just going to go ahead and run their portion of the campaign for them. So what if they did, since their patch is TBA, right? They didn't want to do their patch, their logo, because it's the head stamp, and there's no way to really do a good representation of brass and PVC. It would look weird. So they're going to do something different. What if they did a stock certificate, a GunStreamer stock certificate patch? And they
that would be awesome.
100 of them, and they cost some amount of money, like a real stock certificate. And maybe they actually have a little bit of value over time because you got the first run of their stocks patches or something.
Yeah, that's the kind of thinking right there. That's good stuff. Right, I'd buy the heck out of that patch.
I wish I had thought of that.
All right, guys. Hey, I gotta go. I'll listen in, I guess, tomorrow at work to see what else you guys come up with. And
see you, Tony.
I'll be putting my stuff out tomorrow. All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Tony.
Sounds good.
Bye.
So I don't know. We don't have to extend this artificially. We've got 29 people watching out there communicating with us, being part of the conversation. Appreciate that. Does anybody else have questions or stuff we wanted to bring up? Again, this is sort of an update to keep people aware and get a chance. We don't get a chance to chat, so this is literally the chance that we're getting to chat like this.
How many designs are to be announced? Do we know?
So let's take a look. Share so that I can.
I think there's a lot, which is exciting.
I would say at least half. Yeah.
So let's pin this down a little bit. So Every Second Matters is going to look like this, and I might do a different color. So Every Second Matters is going to look like it always does. Tony just left, but 2A for everyone is going to look like that. Gear Report is going to look like this, except it says reviews now. This, I have an old representation of their logo, so it's going to look like this. It'll say reviews. Gun Tubes will look like that. 2A Fund will look like this one. Yankees.
I was going to change mine to a stock certificate. So, no, just kidding.
You want
Just kidding.
Then, and then Yankees is going to look like this one. This is a picture he drew back in the day to be like a Glock Kool-Aid or whatever. Florida Carry is their logo, so it's going to look like that. So the ones that are up for grab, well, I guess they're not, because Yuta just told us he's going to do the gun control ain't kosher.
Not kosher, yeah.
Yeah, mine is going to be my logo. I'm just going to do the logo one because I just like the logo.
Right.
Okay, so that's what I wasn't sure. So this will be Yuta's, and then Ghost will be his logo. So we've got Clover is not going to look like this one. He already has this one coming as a Ranger Eye.
But it is determined. Yeah, mine is determined at this point, though.
I have his artwork. Yes,
but it's not announced yet.
Yeah. Well, that's what we know what it's going to be. Is what I'm saying. But
and then Matt's will look like this. It just has a square border instead of that goofy thing I drew around it.
Okay.
I don't know why I did that, but anyway,
it'll be a square patch.
Yeah, it'll just be a square.
Like his stickers. He did some stickers one time, or maybe you did them for him, or Angelina, or I don't know.
No, he got them done somewhere, but they were much too small. That sticker, but much larger, like the size of the 37 matters probably.
Yeah.
And then so that's
yeah.
2. Gunstreamer, we don't know. Well, I guess we just decided, so we just
right.
And see, I think Artisan Tony could do one with a stock certificate, but do like a picture of a bump stock and call it a stock certificate, something like that.
Oh man, that's a great idea.
That's got to be a patch right there.
Yeah.
That's Yuta. Do you have that one as a T-shirt yet?
What, a bump stock one?
A stock certificate of some sort? I don't know. There's
But having a rifle stock instead of the word stock, I only asked 10% of the.
You better trademark
proceeds.
that. You better
Right?
trademark that.
That might be a T-shirt on my website the next day or so. Just saying.
Well, I don't know when I'm supposed to be doing the Daily Gun Show. Is it noon or is it midnight back east, or is it 11 back east?
11:04.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
you still got an hour. Yeah.
So at some point, I got to jump out and do my podcast, though. So if anybody's got any cues out there, let us know.
Man, you are messed up on time, aren't you?
You guys
You don't know. You don't know when you are.
You just have to remember one day to like do something with all your clocks. Gang up on us, and then we got to for the rest of like 4 months figure out where the hell we are. Because the problem is mountain time. If it wasn't mountain time, I'd be fine. But freaking mountain time. Anyway.
Yeah. So Arizona, it's part of the year in mountain time and part of the year in West Coast time, or something like that. Or what's the deal on that?
Yeah, we stay here. You all shift. So that means you all just have to change your clocks and just deal with the rest of life. Where, like out of nowhere yesterday, because no one tells us that it's happening, because we don't do it. You guys all just changed. So I'm late to everything by an hour. And then 6 months from now, I'll be early to everything by an hour. So anyway, it's just our thing. And it's only because, like I say, it's not a big deal. It's just that I have to get used to 3 hours instead of 2 hours now. But anyway, like I say, it's the people, and I'm trying to communicate with people in like anywhere in the mountain time where I get all screwed up because we always think we're the same time, but now we're not because we live right next to each other. We're right here. Anyway, that's not the project, and no one's asking any more cues, so I guess we have nothing else to A. So I'll say thanks again to everybody for participating. It's been a great project. Everything's good when it's successful, but I think there's benefits beyond the actual patch, the catalyst for this one, and we'll effort towards doing whatever we can. So thanks everybody. You guys want to say anything? Got anything to plug before we head out?
No, just the patch batch. I mean, definitely, we've got a lot of cool incentives going on. Got the Mill Team 6 incentive, as well as potentially getting one of 2 free sets just for joining the project, getting over on Indiegogo and getting involved there. And then we've got the free patch batch set that's going out, just get over on the Ghost Tactical or the Clover Tac Instagram, repost that, use hashtag 2A Patch Batch 2019, tag a couple of friends, and you could actually win a free set.
Also, 2A Fund is going to refund 2 contributors' contributions. So go, it's keep buying patch batch sets.
Let's talk about that. If somebody buys one, you can go buy a second one on Indiegogo, right?
Sure.
I've seen people buy
Yeah,
2.
you can buy as many as you want.
Absolutely.
Buy it over and over, in other words.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, you can do more than one.
And you can just, people drop $2. Night Strike put $2 in the other day. Like, people drop 5. Like, there's no level of $5. I mean, like, he's just dropping money. And so people have dropped money. And then I got to say thanks for that, because I'm pretty sure I screwed up the shipping. So all of that's going to help with the shipping. But,
well, and to clarify, if we draw a winner and he only donated $2, we're going to draw another person. If we're going to keep going till we reach $100.
I'm not going to give you a list of because those won't show up in the perks or whatever. Like when the project ends, what you'll get on the other side, and we can show a lot of this, because I don't think it's like YouTube where they have restrictions on showing anything. I mean, it's just
it shows up on the project page as what they contributed. So I guess I'll have to just do screenshots.
No, you won't have to do screenshots. That's what you're talking about. If I finish my sentence, when you finish a project, of course, there's tons of metrics in there. You can sort by everything, not only, and that's why I gave each of you your own link, so that if everyone was using their own links with the appropriate tags on there, we would know how many came from each site. I mean, if we wanted to do a campaign on Facebook, we could know how many links are coming specifically from that. So every single aspect of it is kept track of on the Indiegogo. So it's really neat. So yeah, I can just sort by the perks. So the people actually contributed to the perks level, and then give you the ID probably numbers is easiest there, and then that way it's anonymous and nobody has to worry about that we're being sloppy about personal information. There's an ID number for each perk or each event in the system, and I can give those over to everybody, and you can do whatever drawings you're going to do, and we got everybody shipping address because we're shipping you the stuff. If it's I don't think there's anything to ship actually, because the only one we'll need is when the Clover and Ghost do, because Tony's won't require any shipping. Right, that's one. Right. And then the meal team ones will come from We Like Shooting, so we won't have to ship that. They'll ship that, I guess. And then the only one we'll actually need to coordinate is the one that was donated, that Clover and Ghost are giving away to someone who helps promote the campaign. Right. And that's already kind of paid for shipping anyway. It's just it's going to go to the whoever Clover and Ghost pick instead of the person who donated it. And I guess we should mention that you can donate them. I guess that's a thing. So somebody bought one, said that for their own personal reason they didn't want to accept it, donate it back to the campaign. So, yep. I don't know. And the other thing is, we're not money grubbing. This is to allow people knowledge of these platforms. If there's a valid product that needs to exist, a better site or hey, thanks for jumping in, Appreciate you jumping in. We'll probably have another show tomorrow as it ends. So if you got time tomorrow, please join in.
Is Vito leaving?
Yeah, he was texting. Sorry. So,
okay.
But basically,
Take care, bro.
It's an effort on multiple levels. So if we can educate everybody on how these projects work, the 12 people that are involved plus the 200 something people that are participating, I'm sure a lot of them already know about Indiegogo or the concept of crowdfunding. But if we're bringing new people on board, like you guys, I think it was in your chat earlier, Ghost, you were saying you never know who you're talking to a group of 4 people, and that one of them turns out to be the next Maj, and then look what he's accomplished. So if we can explain what we're doing out here and why we're doing it here, and what the process is, and the 200, I guess it's more than 200 people. I should be saying that it's up to 240 people can bring in $12,000 to a project. The project. Oh, I forgot to take the fees out of it too. So the project's going to take $1,000 right now, but still they're going to move $10,000 to a project, and that's powerful. I mean, Tony already jumped out, but can you imagine what Tony could do with $11,000 once, let alone on an incremental basis? That would literally affect voters in New Jersey. How big can New Jersey possibly be?
Well, that's what
to change
that's
New
what
Jersey.
yeah, Clove and I were talking about that earlier today on a phone call. It's like, even $2,000 for a project is huge. I mean, that's an enormous amount of operating capital.
You can buy a lot of votes for $12,000.
Yes, you can, and the
Just
fact
kidding.
that, well, just the fact that the people are like I said, we were a week ago like 20% through, and in a week it went to 120%. So we gained 100 went from 20% to 120% funded in a week, and yes, there were bigger channels that helped out in that process. The fact that there are people out there that obviously like what we're doing and want to be a part of it, and this is helpful for the next, like you said, we're just learning. This was kind of an experiment, so the next time you do this and you have 12 new other people, you're going to know what to expect or what to get. And I think that if it goes well, then people will be expecting the new patch batch, and they'll be collecting all of these things. And I think it's a really positive thing because, the fact that people are willing to give their hard-earned money to help projects out, that's just awesome, because some people, they don't have time or whatever to do a project themselves, and this is their way of being involved in the community. So, and I know we said thank you to G, and I know he doesn't like it, but for the fact that you came up with this idea, I commend you and thank you for it. Thanks for letting me be part of it.
You're in the pocket of Big Patch. Doesn't count. So I'm looking at the dashboard right now, and what do you think of this? It's telling me that, that can't be right. It's telling me that 58% of the contributions have come from YouTube. Big surprise. But the third largest factor, or the third largest source of support, is Indiegogo search. Okay, Indiegogo search has brought in 9%, going on 10% of the project at this point.
That's awesome.
How many people do you think are like, I think there's a thing I'm supposed to look at and it's on Indiegogo, but I got to search for it? Or do you think those are people, because when you guys were talking about the incremental leap there for whatever that was, it triggered us hitting the featured in arts. I stuck this one up in arts. I'm glad I did, because sometimes I'm stupid and I'll stick it up in dance just to be a jerk. Like I'll stick it up in goofy things. I'm glad I didn't do a goofy one this time. But because we had some momentum, it pegged us as a featured. And I was wondering, when you said that, I'm like, oh, I was going to add, and it made us featured in that category. I'm wondering how many people, I guess that's 22 contributors brought in $1,000, so 10% of it basically. That's basically our tax, our cut, like the fees.
I think that
fees right there,
just
the logo itself.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I think that search thing is like on phones, because I know for me, when I would have to go find it, I would have to search it. I would search for the Indiegogo link on my browser on my phone. I didn't have the link like a bookmark somewhere. So a lot of people using their phones were probably searching.
Well, to look for it, but then also back it. Like if you're like, hey, I'm going to go back to this, so you're going to be like, I'm going to go on my phone. I don't even remember where it's at. Are you going to go to your computer where you got your credit card stuff in it or something? Or are you going to go to like an email?
Well, if you're an Indiegogo, if you're already registered on Indiegogo, you can do it on your phone very easily. You just say back it.
Oh, I got you. You already
got your funding source already set up on there.
Yeah, I hear you. No, that's a good point. And there's definitely, and that's one of the reasons I do it on Indiegogo. I keep saying that. Same thing with Patreon. I mean, it's like I will acknowledge it's the same thing on YouTube too, but there are people on that platform who are looking around to find interesting things to back. So yeah, like we were talking, I think Tony was saying about the morale patch collectors and speculators. There's people I suspect don't even collect them as much as know that there's big money in patches sometimes, especially these people that do limited runs and have a lot of following. And there's people that'll just acquire because they know they're going to go up in value and they're very easy to store, right? And they're unique. But I suspect there might be people that are doing that, like looking on there and saying, oh, well, this is neat, pretty good value, $4 a piece. Now, how can you go wrong? If one of them gets to be $50, it paid for it, and if two of them get to be $30, I made a couple of bucks.
Well, and especially for the people out there, like you said, that there might be people that collect morale patches, and if they are out there looking, they know that $4 for a patch is unheard of on a retail side. I mean, if you can find a patch for less than $10 on the retail side, you've done something pretty special. So, I mean, they're sitting there going, man, they know the value of what they're getting.
3% from Facebook, only 1.3%. Oh no, wait, that's Indiegogo. Where's Instagram on here? Instagram's not even ranking.
Well, that's easy because you can't put links in Instagram, so you can use a link, but not bio, but you actually just can't put a clickable link on an Instagram post so people can go straight from Instagram. So that makes sense. I mean, I wouldn't suspect a whole lot from Instagram because they probably found it. Now those people that
they might be coming in as Facebook.
It might be Facebook, or also might be some of the Indiegogo searches is they're seeing it on Instagram, then going to Indiegogo and searching it because they can't direct link from Instagram.
Could be. That makes sense. Because, well, I have it on my profile and that takes you to it, but it does open the browser, I think. So it wouldn't be coming from Instagram. It would be coming from the browser. So
yeah. And that's something that I wish Instagram would change. I wish they would allow clickable links in their posts.
They're stingy.
It would be super spammy.
Yeah, it probably would be.
Enough now, but I don't know. There's got to be a reason. There must have been some science behind that like rule because they kept with it. YouTube even changed to where you can link in the comments, right?
Yeah, they just want to be frou-frou photographs,
Right.
But Pinterest or something.
Oh no.
See, that's something I didn't even think about Pinterest. I don't do anything on Pinterest and I don't really know how it works, but I wonder if anyone did put it on Pinterest. That'd be interesting because a lot of people are on there.
Oh, Kenneth has a good idea. Get the patches into Army Navy stores and help them sell and raise money. But that's a good idea. I think I don't disagree with you that the industry, or at least the manufacturers, like I was saying, probably wouldn't give too much of a hoot, especially once you get to the name brands and up. But Army Navy stores or surplus stores,
or gun shops, local gun shops.
Well, gun shops for sure. But I think the Army Navy, the surplus stores got the patch thing. They got the patch love because they're almost always have a couple of panels of patches. They might understand us and understand the patch side of it. So I just hadn't thought about that before. But yeah, that's super good idea.
I think a cool patch batch would be, some surplus stores from around the country doing their logo. I mean, just spreading the love of surplus stores. That'd be kind of a cool patch.
Right.
Or gun shops from around the country. That'd be kind of a cool, like a gun show loophole tour patch batch. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I was talking about that earlier. I don't think you're in here yet. Yeah, I think that'd be neat because a lot of that's one of the. I mean, I'm patch head, patch whatever. I like them, but I think they're a good commodity. And for a store, I guess a sticker is better, honestly, because a bumper sticker is useful, and a shirt can be valuable for a gun shop. A patch, is in the middle. It's okay. It's not the worst thing they could do. But it's got merit for sure. And since it is a patch batch or whatever, I would think it would apply. But I really think having logo merchandise stuff at the store is not only potentially money making, but it's free advertising. I mean, it's literally the cheapest advertising you can get. Not only is it going directly to a gun shop, or in a shooting range or a gun show, but it's going to places that gun people go to, wherever that person goes, because that's where gun people go, right? It's not going to all the stupid places that the newspaper goes, and it's not going to all the stupid things that the billboard's showing. So it's not outreach, but it's focused. And a patch, it's only a subset. I mean, a shirt is probably one of your better ones. Hats are probably around, patch and hats is around the same. Hats and patches are around the same. And then stickers, I think, are your best value. They're just so cheap to make. They can be put on cars and toolboxes and gun safes and range boxes and at the range. Um,
Well, it's also stickers are a good way to test the water on a design.
sure.
So, if you make a sticker thing and it just sells out instantly, then you've got a really good winner for patches. So that would be a good investment, probably.
And ideally, they prime the pump to make a run of patches too. So
Yeah.
they kind of can test the water and prep.
Right.
And that's one of the things about the patch batch, right? I guess another way we could have done this is go find Moneybags someplace and say, hey, Moneybags, we need 10 grand, because somebody's out there doesn't care about 10 grand, right? Just find them. Probably could have spent a lot less time yakking out to the world about this patch batch concept and just spent all this time with 12 of us looking for somebody who doesn't care about 10 grand, right? Or that wants to throw 10 grand at us specifically. And what would that have accomplished, right?
Yeah,
right. It would have got the commodity created.
Right.
But you would miss out on the whole point of the project. So yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, the thing is, once, this is an effort in collaboration. So once this is done, what's to keep 2 or 3 or 6 of the people that were involved, or even a couple, and then they bring in 3 or 4 more, and then maybe they go do what you're talking about. Maybe they go find, now that they're used to working together and they're introduced to each other and all of that kind of stuff, they feel more comfortable and they get together on their own and say, let's go find a, benefactor or whatever that, we can get, a batch made of our own patches or new designs or whatever. And, they can go do it that way because they've worked together before.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's something to be said for the experience.
Dang it, I just had something and I seen that Tony jumped out.
Yeah, he did. Now I did.
I'll type it in the chat so I don't forget. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, while everybody was talking there earlier, I did reshare the video from Gunstreamer, and I tagged 20 different companies and organizations, and I've already had 2 share it. I just put in, that we're within our final 24 hours. This was a successful campaign, but we can still do more. And that I'm going to tag some companies and organizations, and if you can help us by sharing, please do that. And so almost immediately there was 2 that shared it. So
that's what I was thinking of doing.
There is something to be said for that, apparently. You don't know till you try it.
Well, we're a community, right? And it's an opportunity to chat with somebody. So we're in business, and our jobs are to do lots of things, create a product or create content or to facilitate something or to, produce or move, I don't know, whatever our jobs are, right? But we're doing business or whatever. So wouldn't it just be part of it if you're creating content and you're interviewing people and the only time you ever talk to them is you've interviewed them, you never follow up. This is an opportunity to follow up with something that's business related.
Right.
It's not, hopefully not the only time you ever communicate with them, but it keeps the channels open. Now, hopefully the next time isn't, hey, we've got an ATF issue coming up. But if we can use projects like this for us as the people doing this stuff, as trying to create projects or platforms or whatever it is, the 12 people that are involved in the thing or anybody in our shoes. But if we, can, again, we're doing this live, we could be talking off air. We're doing this live so that hopefully people that are interested in collaborating and doing stuff like this themselves, if we can come up with as many opportunities as possible from this, then we all just become better as channels or projects. But then I guess what I'm saying is we create these channels, or we keep the pumps primed. Maybe that's what I've been searching for. We keep the channels open so that whenever we need them, it's not the second time we've ever talked to these people. Hey, remember 6 months ago you interviewed me or I interviewed you? Guess what? We're at risk. And it sounds like we're the NRA or something, but if it's like, hey, we're doing this, how can I help you? Now we're keeping the conversation going.
Yeah. And that's something that, I'll let Ghost jump in. He's probably going to say what I'm fixing to say, but go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead and finish, man.
Go ahead.
What I was going to say is, and we're talking about this project is there to invite and encourage other projects to collaborate with each other, share audiences. And we've seen in the last 3 weeks, or less than 3 weeks, that it has worked for this experiment. But it would be a failure if the 12 of us that are involved in this stop collaborating once this is over. The whole point is to introduce people, to encourage further collaboration, not just about patches, but about the two-way. You get Yuta, he's got a whole different audience than a lot of people do, because not just from the Jewish side, but he's an author. So he's bringing people in that read. And we're talking about Gear Report. There's all sorts of facets to this thing.
And his readers are new to guns and families. So, I mean, we talk about the next generation. I mean, he's literally focused on the next generation of Second Amendment.
I don't know about them smart people there that can read.
These are
reading's overrated.
These are pictures.
Reading is bad, okay?
I don't even want pictures. I want pop-up books,
I don't know if they got pop. These are guns. We can't have pop-up books. Scare people. So now we know his patch. We know Ghost's patch. I think that was 2 of the questions. What do you think Gunstreamer's going to do?
They may run with that. They may run with that stock certificate thing. I don't know. That's interesting. You can get them in and talk with them about it. I really like that idea.
There's nothing to say. I mean, it's just a widget. I mean, it's a catalyst. It's a thing. And if we wanted commodity patches, we go to eBay and buy them for $2 or $1 or whatever. The thing is the funding source or whatever. The thank you to the person who provides funding for the project.
Right.
So that's what I was thinking. Yeah, make these things $100. That's $1,000.
Right. And I don't know if Austin or Ashley or Paul or any of them are contemplating a branding change for Gunstreamer, an actual branding logo change. But if they ever were, this would be the opportunity to start thinking about that.
Oh, you mean from their head stamp? I don't think so. Like those patches they had made, I keep calling them mouse pads. I don't know what that material is, but brilliant. That works perfectly for their patch.
Oh, that was awesome. I loved it. Yeah.
And I think it's a cool logo. I mean, it's tough to get a head stamp to pop, and they did it. And it says 45 on it, so that's even better.
Right.
You just want to make 9mm.
That's exactly what I want. I want a 9mm.
Then the problem would be all those videos would have to be in metric. They wouldn't fit.
What's that? Right?
Edges would get worn off because all our tools are not.
Good Lord.
So I was going to say, what if we built something, and because we're talking about making this a structure or some sort of a system, right? I'd like to do it again before. It would be neat to do one before Kevin's and then do one before gun rights policy, right? But how do you rotate people through so it's not the 12 of us each time? So what if it's something like there's 3 seats that are going to get switched, or 4 seats, or some number of seats, and then we have to do something to compete to stay in it, so that way people who are just hanging on can hang out, and then the people that are kicking the most get slots for the next time around. It's not an obligation. They can always say, "Yeah, thanks, it was great, but I'm done."
I mean, I would like to think that I would love to be involved in every single one of them, but I also know that's selfish. And there are some other great channels and projects and platforms that deserve the chance to be noticed as well. I mean, we were talking on the show tonight, and Skip was like, how do you get involved with that? Munitions, weapons, tactical.
I feel bad. We don't have any chicks at all, really. I mean, there's girls in Florida carry, I'm sure, and there's got to be girls in Every Second Matters, but we don't have a female at all.
Well, you know what would be cool?
I like gun gals or that guy's wife. I mean, that would be awesome.
Well, how cool would it be if you?
Well, I'd like to do the 50 state initiative. Is it the 50 state project? Yeah. I don't think they do a patch, except they're girls. They don't care about patches.
Well, what if? And you could even, I don't know, maybe you could finagle it. You wouldn't have to do the 12, right? Because you'd figured it on 10 originally. But what if it was? What if it was an all girl batch? You could get Carrie and Skip in.
Women's Defense Network. Yeah, Women's Defense Network. All sorts of stuff.
There's 2 reasons. 1, super sexist, and 2, and the second reason is I'd be worried about the bears.
Oh Lord.
That would be a good. That would be a good batch, though. You got to admit, it would be unique.
The women of the 2A batch or something, you
It
know.
would be unique.
I mean, I like it, but I'm just going to speak for all women because I can do that because I'm running the show. But
Right. Sure.
the idea that they have to be in their own thing is lame. And I honestly, I don't know how. I mean, it would get funding for sure, but I like the idea of having, like I was saying, having an anchor in each one and having a diverse. So at this point, there's diversity within the female thing, but it's heavy into content creators and trainers. There's,
Right.
what I'm saying? I just, we want authors, but now I might be wrong. I don't know what the hell. I certainly don't know all the
Well, you
female.
can bring in Gun Freedom Radio, and that could be an anchor with Cheryl.
Well, yeah, but if you're talking about having to lay some groundwork first, but I mean, if you got with, what was it, like WOMA or whatever, and I mean, you don't know the authors and the other people that might be out there, so it
No,
would be an exercise as well into branching out with your networking.
But I like the idea of having them included and just keep a mix of,
Right.
as much of a mix as possible of every aspect, every characteristic, right? So that,
Yeah.
And I like the idea of bringing people together that aren't in some clique altogether. Them gun channels people, they always hang out with each other.
Right.
But
Yeah. I would be willing to think that there could be, and I know that you really are talking about companies, manufacturers, they can typically afford to get their own stuff, but what if there is like a small startup company that's got something unique that literally has everything invested in the product? That could be kind of cool,
I
to
know.
promote to these smaller companies.
Dude, I know of a half a dozen companies that would probably, that kind of fit that
Exactly.
bill, that don't have
Exactly.
patches, and
Yeah.
I get stickers from them all the time. But they don't have patches, and
it's a concept of awareness. And then
Yeah.
when we talk about the idea of tiers, imagine if you had that concept. Imagine gun shops alone having the resources
yeah.
they've got, the manufacturers. Yeah, the different tiers would be pretty neat. I would like to do, or maybe save that for two things. One, to be more established, because my goal isn't to promote industry. The industry has enough advocates out there, and I'm trying to create advocacy for the boring, nerdy stuff that we talk about, right? The true underdogs. We got underdogs everywhere if we look hard enough. But the second thing would be, I'm doing this now in the beginning of 2019, as opposed to later, right? Because it's always easier to do it later. We could have done it next time. We could have done it by Christmas. Could have done it way easier later, right? Instead, we're doing it now because I'd like to get more accomplished before gun rights policy, which is our last gun rights policy before 2020. I'm not going to say the sky's falling, but I think 2020 is important. And I'd like to be at a point where this is established. And if we can bring Tony's and Kevin's and Artisan Tony's funding project, imagine Artisan Tony's funding project having 200 people that throw $5 in. He's throwing thousands of dollars around. So if we can get projects like that incubated, what's the word? Like, give them some startup now where they have some lead time to get active and be vital in 2020. In 21, let's let the industry flourish. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm just saying, we've only got so much time, and we're asking people to throw $50. I mean, only 200 people out of the 34 million gun owners, so we've got to keep that in mind. But still, the people that are actively participating in this, let's not fool ourselves, are people that actively participate in a lot of these projects. And we're not here to milk anyone. We're not here to create a sense of urgency and appeal to their, do this instead of eat or anything. But, so we've only got so much we can realistically do before 2020. I'd like to keep it focused 100% on what we're trying to get 2A stuff.
Right.
To where we all go to gun rights policy and exchange patches. So that gun rights policy is the most effective gun rights policy that's ever happened.
Right.
Gotcha.
Or like maybe in 2020, when everybody's frustrated about politics, then we talk about the industry, when the industry is going to be totally neglected because the politics will be at the...
we talked about it a little bit. I mean, even bringing in local gun shops, not having an entire batch made up necessarily of local gun shops, but bring one or two into the mix here and there.
I'm trying to say, here. Did you say about gun shops, bringing 1 or 2 gun shops in the mix?
Yeah, not do a whole batch of gun shops, but maybe bring 1 or 2 little gun shops or something into the mix here and there during our batches.
I'm gonna number 1, I'm copywriting the gun shop part, so you guys can talk about it, but I'm copywriting it. But then what about James Davis? What about James Davis?
Yeah.
I'll definitely bring J.M. Davis on board this year.
Well, not just them, but I mean, of a lot of different museums and stuff that
Dragon Man
do that.
I was gonna say Dragon Man, yeah.
Fuck yes. And then the Dug Up Gun Museum. That's a free museum. You go to Cody, Wyoming. 3 million people go to the east gate of Yellowstone each year. They can walk up into the Dug Up Gun Museum for free and experience all these cool things from relics and the stories. And the guy who owns it is an awesome advocate. So yeah, he's all about politics and he's doing it with intent. Heck yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a chance to really do some cool things, and we're just kind of brainstorming, we're just throwing stuff at the wall and all of that. And I think that the cool thing about this is, we've come up with maybe 10 or 12 patchback runs in the next 10 years. I mean, we've already got ideas for this and that and this and that, and it's like, okay, now I just got to prioritize what we need to do. But the cool thing is there's potential for anything and everything. That's really cool. Like, who wouldn't want a gun shop or a gun shop loophole tour? That would be a great cool patch batch of some of the gun shops that you go on in 2019 on the tour, or 2020. Here are some patches that we visited and we thought were some really cool gun shops, and we want to help them prepare and let them get some patches or whatever. I mean, it's just the ideas are limitless, which is great. It's a cool thing. Or, like you said, the gun rights policy conference. Find out some of the people that are involved with that, and do patches for them, and who's going to be speaking at the AmCon. Do some patches for them. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be kind of neat. Do an AmCon run.
That'll promote AmCon in itself.
Yeah. Maybe they'd put it on something more than Facebook.
Maybe so.
There's other things besides patches. We mentioned that before. Now that everybody who's lightweight jumped out, we just keep going. I guess we got 19 of the hardest core viewers out there still watching. Nobody's. I suppose put it on the Daily Gun Show here in a minute. Okay, so I guess I have to end it anyway. But we can do other stuff besides patches too. I mean, like I say, I'm a big patch nut or whatever, but I don't think hats are the way to go. I think they cost too much. Yeah. But shipping, you get a shirt that knows how to make shirts and get them out, and you let them know we're going to need X amount, like at the end of this campaign. It has to be established by now. There has to be, there's too many of these crowdfunding campaigns that have shirts included. They're not just all doing them randomly. There's got to be large places that can do it. But I don't know if you guys both in here when I was saying before, I think it was in this show, about the idea of something else. Like, so it's, it doesn't have to be the commodity. It could be something like a card or something like, what was I saying before? Like the idea of those cards that say, like, you're asking people not to carry in here, but CCW's owners are, vetted and law-abiding and conscientious and wealthy and blah, blah, blah. And, just coming up with something as simple as that doesn't need to have a lot of production to it. So that can be, because really this is a fundraising, the goal would be a fundraising type of thing. So if we can raise funds to get projects to grow, and then, I don't know what I'm trying to say, like, have a piece of paper or something that doesn't cost very much to produce, so that the trinket, the catalyst for it, doesn't have to be something. Patches is actually, they're neat and everything, but it's not going to be inexpensive. I mean, there's no money left over after this thing. It's going to be right at fumes. So it's something like a piece of paper that we can produce inexpensively and perhaps even regionally, like have it distributed or printed locally, like something that doesn't need to be distributed, because the infrastructure is what kills, commodities being distributed. Anyway, I was just thinking, maybe devolve the concept into more of the working together and less of the whatever the widget is.
I got a couple ideas. One, just for the commodity side of things, what about like dog tags or paracord bracelets or something. There's all sorts of stuff that could be a little bit cheaper. Like, dog tags are pretty cheap, possibly. But as far as like the piece of paper, what if we did like a 10-page like book, a small little book, and
something that's cheaper to each of the people.
Yeah, and like a page for each other, and they have whatever their mission is. Like mine would be like concealed carry. My page would be, what's important to me about concealed carry. Everyone has a chance to write their own little 2 paragraphs of what's important to their individual projects. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, and then the publication or whatever the thing is, the yearbook or the
exactly
the booklet or whatever, and then it would, then there's a lot more process. You could have the lead up to it, and the I was thinking some sort of a system where if there's 12 people, if everyone did an interview, that would be 6, but it gets really exponential, right? As soon as everyone tries to do an interview with everyone, is that 12 times 12, 144 videos happen?
Yeah.
Or 144 things happen if they're ideally not just videos, right? We keep very video centric, but if it's blog posts and other things happening, and I don't know that.
And we could, and Yuta could be a great person to kind of get involved with that, since he's published books before, and get like Dog Body, people that are in the community that have books published, and talk about that side of it. Say, hey, is not saying we want to get a book, but if we want to get a 10 to 20 page little small book about each person gets their own page, but the rest of it is the different history and the different landmarks of the gun community. Talk about the Second Amendment, talk about Colt and Browning and all these people that were influential in Glock. All these people kind of do like a history of the 2A. That would be kind of a cool book. I think people would enjoy that.
It almost sounds like
I killed the chat.
That almost sounds like a 2A yearbook project that could be a separate thing, but just to archive.
That'd be kind of fun. That'd be kind of cool.
Every year,
yeah, because if you did a yearbook for like 2019, we could look back and talk about all the cool things that happened in the gun community in 2019 or something. Yeah, that'd be kind of a cool idea.
That'd be an interesting project to create it starting in 2019 and then go backwards and get everybody to remember everything that happened through 18, and then 17 is to everybody's recollections, and have content where you create the reminiscing, and then going forward you just archive once a week and then consolidate it once a month, and then you consolidate it once a year into your yearbook.
That's a cool idea.
For a channel, go for it. Take that channel and run.
There you go.
What do you guys think of the concept of Tony's making the 2A patch batch an entity?
I like it being organic and grassroots.
I'm the same way. I think that once it becomes a thing, and there is a branding and there's marketing and there's all this, that, and the other, I think that it goes down a road that was never intended to be like that. I like the way it is. I mean, I think that people like it because it's not a thing. It's a thing, but it's not a thing. And I like that about it.
So George Trucker had a good one. Gun Channel's table of contents, channel name, and what your channel focuses on.
There you go. I like that. And the great thing about that is you could have 50 pages in that book, and a 50-page little book with 50 different channels is not going to cost a whole heck of a lot. You're talking, you could even, it's not going to be that much,
You could. Actually. Printing is, it depends. If it's like the newspaper thing you get at the convenience store, like for free, like a newspaper print kind of, that kind of paper, that's inexpensive. But if you're talking as soon as you get nicer, it starts to get.
Well, I wouldn't be talking about paperback or a hardbound book or anything. Just
Something like
something.
one of those Amazon things. That's the way to do it, right? Where you just
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. No, that's the way to do it. And then nobody has to buy anything. They just, you create it. That's the whole point. Is the project is the creation of it, and then the result just gets uploaded and people can buy it. And I guess I don't know where that funds would go. I guess they'll just have to go to your website since we can't figure out where to have them go.
Yeah. We'll do it that way.
All right. Well, there's more people watching, so people are joining in. Vanessa Kitty's entertaining everyone with her stories of how she's going to wrap her truck in USAF Tiger Stripe camo.
That'd be interesting. I'd like to see a picture of that when it's done. Vanessa, that'd be a great, cool video, a before and after video.
Nobody's over on the Gun Channel site tonight. Let's take another look at the the 2A patch project, and I'll refresh the page there. Looks like, wow, just hit another. We're at 242 backers, 242. So if they were called fronters, it would be front 242.
Right.
So 147 Facebook. They don't tell us on Tweet because they must not have agreement with Tweet. They don't have nothing for Instagram. I wonder why, because back in the day, I think they did. And I don't like how they don't. I'm just kind of browsing the site here, screen share. I'm just looking at the campaign here. We just went up to 242, so it's almost went up to 705. When you hover over the stupid Facebook one, it gives you 147. I'm guessing that's how many shares. They don't tell you on Twitter. And they removed the Instagram one. They used to have an Instagram one there. And it doesn't tell you how many people are following it, which is interesting.
Instagram changes their
API.
Their API up an awful lot, I hear.
But there's such a big one. You would think that there must be some tension or something between them. I don't know how these big corporations or whatever they are, entities, deal with each other. But we are featured, like I was saying, the guy Peg. I don't know if I've had ones featured before. I must have. Maybe I didn't notice it, or I wasn't doing this kind of a thing talking about it, So it just happened and it happened. But it was kind of neat. I don't know how much of a factor it is, but you say 10% of the people are coming from Patreon, according to the metrics. I think I'm just clicking around in here. We should have probably done more of an effort to encourage people to use the update. And I guess they can't do update, but the comments or reply to updates, or like, what do they do here? Little faces. Interaction, or, whatever. Interaction with the platform has to affect the logarithm of the platform, right? So having 242 likes over here, 100% like factor, and something about leave us a comment and we'll say your name or something. I don't know, just something, leave a comment and we'll say thanks or whatever. Or even if it wasn't even like a encouragement, just go in here and we could have just said like, hey, Travis, new goal 12,000. Love to see it hit 15 and do more for these great organizations. Right on, thanks. And then like this kind of thing live. Love this. And then Smeggy, so glad this is funded. Now let's hit the stretch goal and end at the end and repeal the NFA. So I snuck that in. If we get to the $2 million mark, we're going to repeal the NFA. We won't make any patches. Fuck the patches. We're going straight to the NFA.
All right.
Let's do it. We got 24 hours, guys. We got 24 hours. Let's do this.
So this is, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes into this chat already. Why don't we talk about the real elephant in the room, how we're going to do this big party at Dragon Man's. So Dragon Man's opens on March 31st, so he'll be open by the time the patches are good to go. If we get funded at the 100,000 level, what is that, 12 people? That's 90,000 for 12 people? I think you guys can get there. What's 90 divided by 12? It's almost 10. So, $6 or something, $6,000 or $7,000 each.
I'd say we can get to Colorado with that.
Right. So that'd be kind of neat. Get everybody there. I guess you could take 6 or 7 and then maybe bring some people with you. Bring a person.
Yeah. Right.
And then that would be a neat thing. Or we could just say,
Heck, we could do a giveaway for a free airline ticket for a viewer here and there. You know.
here and there, airline tickets are like $500. Yeah, you can do a bunch of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you can just, that'd be awesome.
So we're almost there. We just have to do 10 times, 100 times more than we got now. 10 times more than we got now. 2,000 backers. Is that right? Am I doing the math right?
Go up to Dragon Man and say, "Here's $1,000.
Open
I
the
want to
museum
shoot
to us.
all of your guns." You know.
Well, I guess that's another thing. I didn't even think of. I only think about the museum. I guess I didn't think about shooting the guns, but yeah, exactly. Like we're gonna go through the museum in shifts. Some of us are gonna be shooting, and the rest of us are gonna be picking your brain in the museum. So just go live in the museum for the next 2 days.
Yep. Because then after that's done, we're gonna switch them. Because I'm gonna go shoot and go through the museum. Yeah, that's definitely something I gotta get to one day. Is I gotta go see Dragon Man.
Midnight saying, "Where's the $100,000 button on Indiegogo?" Actually, just click the back it button, and then you just put in a bunch of zeros, and then it'll take as much money as you want to give it. I imagine. Do you think there's a? Let's find out if there's an upper limit. Somebody try putting in some outrageous amount of money, and then we'll see.
We'll see if it works. Yeah.
Right.
Then we'll see if somebody can put in more than that.
Yeah.
So get to it, and we'll watch live. Here, I'll put the countdown clock on.
Exactly. Let's start at 1,000. Let's start at 1,000. The next person's gonna be 10,000. The next person's gonna be 100,000.
It's got to start at like something outrageous, 900,000 or something.
Yeah.
You're gonna get 12 patches though. Let's not forget that.
You gotta get 12 patches. That's right.
All right. Well, I guess with that, I got to go start another show. So I'm gonna go talk again for a bit. You're welcome to join in if you guys are still awake, and if you're watching, head over to the other channel where we do the Daily Gun Show, or don't. Thanks for the thumbs. We have 21 of them out there. Appreciate that. Do appreciate the people that participate in these live conversations. These are put out there on a channel with 160,000 subs. Every once in a while, somebody's going to watch these, and they're going to see your participation out there. So thanks for that. And keeping me and Ghost and Clover motivated. I suspect I can speak for them. And looking forward to more of the same.